Hi, today I am here with a little bit of urban sketching. I did this pen and ink sketch. Well, it's both a micron pen while my husband and I were hanging out watching a movie. And so I did not film that part. It's just a wonky version of a photo I took plus a little imagination thrown in. Not much emphasis on accuracy or even getting perspective right, just kind of having fun doodling. And I decided I kind of liked it and wanted to paint it in. So at this point, I decided to go ahead and film the painting in my little sketch here. So I'm using a variety of watercolors. I have some of the Graph Tint Kuretake Yanzitambe watercolors, as well as the Art Nouveau set. And then I also have my little palette of just assorted brands and colors of watercolors, so some of my current favorites. So that's what I have on hand to use. I also have some new little watercolor dots that I received as a gift, so those may play into it as well. And I am just getting started here. These were mainly brick buildings in real life, so I'm not really worried about getting color accuracy, but I do want to have that kind of same feel or vibe. I'm using a variety of colors just to give that kind of mottled, weathered brick feel to it. So I even adding a little bit of a pinkish color in there with it, as well as some browns and then a more typical brick or burnt orange type color. So there's the first building done. I'm already kind of liking it. Starting in on the second building. Even though these brick colors were somewhat similar in these buildings, I do want to have a little bit of distinction between the buildings, so I'm going to try to change it up a little bit as I paint the next building. By painting each building individually and switching up the colors just a little bit as I paint them, I think I'll get the feel that this is not just one big building, but they are separate individual units. Also, there's going to be nothing realistic about this piece of art, and so I don't have to be overly bound to what the buildings actually looked at. So I'm taking a lot of artistic license here. I did kind of refer to the photo as I was drawing it loosely, but now I'm not even referring back to that and kind of doing my own thing. I made windows the way I thought they should be without very much connection to reality. So I've already changed things up quite a bit, so it doesn't matter too much if I change the colors up some as well. I'm going to start some music for you, and I'll pop back in later. I do take a pause here to take a look at my phone, the photo that I took on my phone, this little reference photo, and just to see what's going on with this building up here. Again, I'm not being too worried about being realistic, but on the other hand, I do kind of like the idea of it being somewhat recognizable. One thing I really changed up in this scene is that I made a cutaway underground picture. I'm always kind of interested in the idea of that there's a whole system underneath. And I mean, I'm sure it doesn't look like what I painted here. This is just my imagination gone wild of little homes and village type situation underground among the pipes and the um, water system and all of that. And so I'm adding that in now. Getting in some of the darks will really start add some definition. So I'm just kind of doing my little simple representation of the windows on this building. You're really seeing them at an angle, so they are just little slivers, or at least that's how I did them. This is actually a rather long building if you were looking at it straight on from the front. So it's really at a bit of a wonky perspective here and not necessarily matching the rest of the buildings either. So it's definitely on the wonky side, but to me, that makes it a little whimsical and endearing. You've seen me bring in some fountain pen ink that I are using as watercolor here. Some of these, this particular one is by Ferris Wheel Press and is called Adventuring, which is a really fun kind of gray purpley color. And then I'm also using some of the colors from my Diamine ink calendar that I had in December. I also added a little train station type building there. Is on the far left is a bridge that's for a train to go over. So I don't think it runs anymore, but there's the old train station there. Again, not totally accurate to the view, but I just wanted to fill in something over there on the left side. So it is nearby. And obviously I am not being realistic as I work some more on that underground area, kind of deepening those colors. I'm working in layers and just kind of going back and keep adding more color and more adjusting, and it just gets a little richer and richer as I go and as I add more color. I like the addition of the blue teal color on the trim on the building to the right. I think that was a fun addition. I'm just adding in a lot of shadowing now and just giving it all a little bit more depth. In addition to building up layers of color, I'm also going back in and adding a little more detail as I build things up, which just makes it a little bit more convincing, even though that particular trim wasn't even on the actual building. But the more little details like that just make it funner to look at, I think. Now that I've kind of deepened all of the colors and added shadow and some contrast and value, now I'm going back in with a brush pen and kind of adding back in some of those ink details that kind of got lost in the painting process. Okay, that brings us from sketch to completed piece, and hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.